Sure, a lot of Xbox fans are excited about Perfect Dark. It's the Initiative's project, and it's a game that a lot of Xbox fans and gamers in general are really excited for because it's one of those old games that's getting rehashed, getting some new paint on it. It's coming to the new ages, man. And for the most part, I would say that a lot of people expected this game to come out not relatively anytime soon. And that's because when you start a new studio from scratch, you would assume there would be a lot to go into that and that would take time. But maybe that's not the case. But before we get on the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. You can always subscribe to the channel for weekly content. And don't forget to go over there and follow me at Twitter at LordAddictILP. Without any further ado, let's talk about Perfect Dark. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Guide here, coming at you for another video. You guys know what it's like, man. We're going to be talking about rumors again, man. Not necessarily rumors. It is going to be some form of, what's what I'm looking for? Some form of substance to this rumor because it's coming from an insider. Well, I consider an insider. I don't know if the individual himself considers himself an insider, but you guys know how it is. For those of you that's watching this video, you know for a fact that Perfect Dark's a very highly anticipated game for Microsoft. A lot of people are extremely excited for it. And people like myself assumed the game was going to take years to come out because when you build a studio from scratch, man, you got to take into consideration they got to find a place to do it from. They got to find the staff, and they actually got to build the game. And they've had about 4 to 5 years to do so. So one would think that, this might start to come into tuition where we could see an announcement sooner rather than later. But then you got to take into consideration we are in the middle of a pandemic, and that could have drastically slowed down development. And that the one key question that everyone is asking is, when are we going to see Perfect Dark? And to be honest with you guys, I thought it would be later rather than sooner because of all the stuff that's going into making this studio from the ground up. I didn't think that, it takes 5 years to make a game and an engine. I don't exactly know how long it takes to create a studio from scratch, hire people, choose an engine to use. And clearly, if you're going into a brand new studio, you're not going to learn how to use that engine with the entire unit as a whole. And you got to learn how to work together with that engine to make the game, and that takes time, guys. That takes a lot of time. And myself kind of figured we'd see Perfect Dark like 2024, 2025, but it does look like we might see Perfect Dark at E3 this year. So maybe that means we could see it next year as a full release. I don't know. That's perfectly fine to speculate on that, and don't really hold too much truth behind that. It's a rumor. But where did this come from? The one and only Jeff Grubb. Man, let me tell you, this man, he leaks so much stuff, and I don't even know if he even cares. I feel like people tell him stuff just for him to leak it so they can get some form of interaction from the community, some form of engagement, so they know exactly how people are going to react to this news, because Jeff Grubb be leaking everything. And on the Xbox era, he actually brought up that, he feels like we're going to see Perfect Dark at E3. Now, regardless if it's a gameplay or it's another CGI, we don't really know anything of that, and he didn't go into huge detail on that. Now, myself, I don't want it to be another CGI cutscene. You guys know how I feel. I'm very strong on, if you're going to show us something, the first time I'll give you a pass if it's CGI because you're formally announcing a game. But anything after that, I don't want it to be CGI. I want it to be straight up gameplay. Regardless if it's scissor rail or if it's a narrative trailer with gameplay spliced through it, I want to see some form of gameplay. I would prefer a lot of gameplay, but I know in the world we live in right now with the pandemic, maybe that's not possible. Now, like I said, Jeff Grubb has been pretty solid on a lot of rumors that he has leaked throughout the years. Is he right 100% of the time? Of course not. But there's a lot of the times where he's point blank and right on. Now, let's talk about what they could show at E3. Like I said earlier, CGI cutscene not coming out to 2024, maybe even 2025 if they're only showing a CGI cutscene at this point in development. Now, if they show some gameplay, there is a solid possibility we could see Perfect Dark next year. Now, that is a huge title. Now, if you look at it from a perspective, we still haven't seen anything related to Avowed really in terms of gameplay, and I'm pretty sure that game's coming out next year, probably the beginning of next year. Microsoft is going to eventually put themselves into a situation where they can release games every couple months, and they're going to have to intentionally delay fully finished games just so they don't step on their other products. For instance, like I said, Avowed. I know The Outer Worlds 2 is pretty far in development, maybe not a whole lot into development where we're ready to see anything relevant to the game, but I know that it's something that people think is like 2025, 2026. I don't think it's that far behind, maybe 2024. And then you got stuff like Elder Scrolls that's going to be development. You got Starfield coming at the end of the year. You got Compulsion's game coming out. And you got the Initiative Perfect Darts game coming out alongside State of Decay and games like Gears of War. And don't forget, we have Ninja Theory that's probably going to come out next year too. So when you have all these games, it's finally starting to get into the rhythm where they're going to be seeing a pretty consistent amount of games being released. You will have to eventually start delaying games intentionally so they're not stepping on each other. And that will be a great moment for Microsoft when they could go out there and they can consistently feed Game Pass, consistently feed their ecosystem, and give people reasons to buy Xboxes so they can subscribe to Game Pass, so they have all these nice exclusives that they can play. It's something that Microsoft needs to really prove. They need to show more of these games, and they really need to show a roadmap. No longer I feel like we should accept the fact that they're just announcing the games. We want to see release dates. We want to see gameplay trailers. We want to see all of this, Microsoft. And I don't think I'm not the only one that wants this. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that just wants to see what they're going to play. Fable, for example, that's probably a 2023, end of 2023, beginning of 2024 game. It is not a whole far-fetched for me to want to see gameplay this year at E3. Maybe next year at E3. I hope it's this year at E3. Keep in mind, they might do their own EXO. I know they haven't done it in a few years. That might be strictly because of the pandemic. So if it's gotten to a point with the pandemic where Microsoft feels comfortable doing an event like that, maybe we'll see XO this year and they'll actually pull some of the usual news that they announce at the Video Game Awards and they'll use it on their own platform, which I'm a huge fan of. I feel like Perfect Dark, it's not going to be for me. I still wish they would have went towards a third person, like kind of action adventure stealth like game, but you guys know how I am. I'm not going to talk down on the creative freedom. I'm going to give David Gallagher, or whatever his name is, a chance to really wow me with this game, and let's see how that goes. But anyway, tell me in the comment section below, do you guys think Perfect Dark is an important title for Microsoft? I do feel like it's one of those things that they put a lot of money behind back in the 360 era, and it's been a real fan favorite back on the N64 as well. So Microsoft really does need to make sure that this game hits home. How do you guys feel about Perfect Dark? Do you think it's going to be something good? Put it in the comment section below. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.